A very good afternoon to one and all present over here. I, Assistant Professor Anuj H. Tiwari, welcomes you all for the technical session of National E-Conference titled as Exploring Social, Economic and Environmental Issues and Solutions in Contemporary India. Before moving ahead for the technical session, we have with us Ms. Asha Bodele, Assistant Professor from the Department of Sociology, ICL, Education Society Motilal Junjunwala, Arts, Commerce and Science College Vashi, Navi Mumbai. I welcome you, ma'am. Now I would like to request Ms. Sheetal to kindly present a paper titled as Cruelty Towards the Animal, an overall analysis. Sheetal, Sheetal, are you there? Okay. Now I would like to request. Continue, Sheetal. Okay.
So wait.
Okay.
So just a sec.
Just start your web camera.
Yeah, sir, I'm doing that. It's not happening.
Yeah.
Okay. So, good morning to one and all present over here. I appreciate your attention and patience for a few minutes longer. So, today for this National E-Conference, I'll be discussing on the research topic cruelty to animals and overall analysis. Mr. Milind Gurchal is my guide and the author of this research paper. And I, as a co-author, Ms. Sheetal Sanjay Upadhyay from SYBComB, KLE Society Science and Commerce College, is here to represent this presentation in front of you all. To get started, let's take a look at the introduction slide. So, Mahatma Gandhi, the father of our nation, once quoted that the greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. So, yes, today I'll address them, our beloved animals, but how sadly they suffer because of us, which contradicts what Bapu has said. So, as you can see on the slide, animal cruelty is defined as exposing animals to an environment where they feel scared, unprotected, and even terrorized. These cases of cruelty are increasing tremendously, and surprisingly, the reason for the killing still remains unknown. And it takes place into various forms like organized animal abuse, physical domestic abuse, laboratory testing, and even for the entertainment purposes, like in the circus industry. So that's all about my introduction part. Moving towards the aims and objectives. So the purpose of my study is to expose us, the mankind, to the fact that animal cruelty is not a laughing matter. And to combat this vital issue, we must start with ourselves by not only being kind and considerate, but also within the confines of law. So, how about reviewing the literature? After reading many articles over a period of months, what I discovered is that, according to different research scholars, serial killers and school shooters have something in common, and that's the history of abusing animals in their childhood. It even links to other horrific violence. It exposes family violence. It reveals a natural propensity to other crime, and it even develops a dysfunctional youth. So that's what I reviewed from different articles. When it comes to research methodology, as you can see from my slide, I have adapted a qualitative research as there are not much numericals and numbers present in my presentation, but there are more words. I have adapted a diagnostic design as I try to find out the issue, as I try to find out the solution and the causes for this vital issue of animal cruelty, and have gathered the data from primary and as well as secondary sources. Primary data has been gathered by conducting a survey, and secondary data has been collected by skimming through different articles, observations, documents, as well as records. So, how about analyzing the data and interpreting the same? So, these are my pie diagrams. That was interpreted by me. So I have asked some questions in my survey, and this is what responses agreed upon. So according to the 69.2%, that's the majority of my respondents agreed that industries like drugs, fashion, as well as cosmetics do abuse animals, and 42.3% of my respondents agreed that they have witnessed animal cruelty in their some part of their life. And even it is discovered that my 50% of the respondents have grown up with pets, so that means they have exploited the pet industry as well. Moving on to the other part of data analysis, as you can see on the slide, here are some graphs. And from that graph, what I interpreted is that abandoning a pet is the most common abuse according to my respondents, and leaving a pet in the car is the least kind of abuse they agreed upon. So you can see the other interpretations that I have concluded on. This is the secondary data that I have gathered from different articles. So, what it says, every year nearly 11 million wild animals are confined and even slaughtered. That means they are killed for their fur. It means that they have spoiled the fashion industry. Almost all animals in the animal circuses end up living in cages. And there are many more of the analysis that I have formed. And to sum up, my prediction seems to be that animal cruelty will continue to occur, regardless of the fact that how hard humans try to prevent it. But to create a positive difference, what we have to do? We have to deteriorate this issue before it becomes improved. And for that, I'm certain that with the cooperation of individuals like us and the communities, we can we can decrease this animal issue by imposing penalties for causing the injury on a serious level. So that's all about my presentation. I'd like to take a leave by asking you a question. If those ruthless adults harming and possibly killing animals, what do you think they're going to do with the children's? So with that said, I'll take your leave. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheetal. Now we'd like to request Ms. Aksa to present a paper titled as Gender Discrimination. Over to you, Aksa.
My name is Aksa Hamdule from SR from KLE College. My research paper for topic name as gender discrimination. Gender discrimination is when someone is treated unfairly and disadvantageously based on their gender, but not necessarily based because of their sexual orientation. This is known as gender discrimination. It is based on race, gender, age, and religion are all possible bases for discrimination against people. Gender discrimination laws also protect the rights of transgender individuals. Aims and objectives for my research paper is to analyze and explore the impact of gender injustice, inequality, bias, discrimination towards the female gender, and the outcome of the same in the form of social evils and crime against them. My literature review for the research paper is several studies on gender justice have been undertaken with the goal of achieving gender inequality. The government of India current attention has resulted in study on this critical problem. This is mostly in infancy of bright and gloomy metropolitan regions and multinational corporate world, as well as the smaller influence it has on the entire rural, suburban, and social parts of life that women are expected to achieve and experience as human beings. The current literature review sheds light on studies conducted to assess the reach and impacts of various human rights, convention and provision under the Indian Constitution, the level of awareness and resulting affecting of gender equality and gender justice, and how affect legislation and institutional provision as well as tool of achieving gender sensitization in the country. Hypothesis for my research paper is to gender discrimination at work is more prevalent in the public than in private sector. Gender discrimination decreases women employees' dedication and passion. Research methodology is qualitative research design, analytical research, types of data, primary and secondary. Data collection tool, content analysis of websites and internet. Conclusion for my research paper is the primary goal of this study is to assess the gender difference in medical investment for children within the home and to identify the key factor to gender discrimination against the women in the society. Holding all other factors constant, it is predicted that the healthcare expenditure incurred by the household within the sample for female children are roughly 15% lower than those incurred by the male children. Many empirical research have found that despite great success in some socioeconomic indices such as significant reduction in poverty, any increase in enrollment rate, both female and male, in elementary and secondary level of school, an increase in women labor force participation. It has been discovered that socio-cultural norms, religious reviews, patriarchal household settings, and male equivalents from women domination all contribute to the frequent kind of 31 discrimination against women. Thank you.
Thank you, Aksha. Now, I would like to request Ms. Kajal to kindly present the paper titled as Sustainable Development Goal. Over to you, Kajal.
Good afternoon to all. My name is Kajal Kashyap from SY BCom in KLE College Society. I am going to present my research paper on Sustainable Development Goal. Introduction. Sustainable development has become the buzzword of international community. The struggle of growth and acceleration has created imbalance in economic development among countries, depleted some of natural resources, and has thus altered the illogical balance. Since this treat the very existence of human life of earth a course of action that could ensure a safe environment of future generation has become the need of ours. Sustainable development is alter coined to ensure that the development take place in such a way that natural resources are sustained and passed on the future generation unpenetted. 17 Sustainable Development Goal aim to be build a more purpose, more equal, and more secure world by the year 2030 has a developed being. Aims and objective. Aims of objective. Uh, Aims of Sustainable Development Goal. The Sustainable Development Goal (SDGs) are a set of 17 interconnected global goals adopted by the United States National General Assembly in 2015 as part of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The Sustainable Development Goals aim to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that all to people has access to peace, prosperity, and well-being. Literature review. Sustainable development in India has examined the literature. Here we will examine the major trend in research as well as government policy related to sustainable development goal. Google search on the topic sustainable development in India on 25 January 2022. The result was found 30 lakh 20,000 result. Research methodology. Research method, quantitative method, research design, descriptive design, type of data, primary data, data analysis and interpretation. Interpretation on Sustainable Development Goal. The Sustainable Development Goal are a set of 17 goals adopted by the United Nations in 2015 as part of 2030. The the Sustainable Development Goals are designed to protect comprehensive and integrative framework of addressing global challenges such as poverty, inequality, climate change, and environmental degradation, among others. Conclusion. The step taken by the India for the achievement of sustainable development goal matter a lot of world. If India succeeded in attaining the sustainable development goal, it could be mean a last section of world has achieved it. Therefore, it is imperative of India to develop effective method of implementing, monitoring and measuring the process of sustainable development goal. This can be handled by the developing an India Index of Sustainable Development ISSD by taking the Urban Index as a base. Thank you.
Thank you, Kajal. Now, I would like to request Ms. Parveen Khan to kindly present the paper titled as A Study on Income Inequality in India. Over to you, Parveen.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Parveen Khan, studying in SY BCom from Kelly Society, Science and Commerce College, Kalamboli. And for the National E-Conference, I have chosen the topic A Study of Income Inequality in India. As we all know, India is fifth largest economy of the world, but according to International Monetary Fund, on a per capita income basis, India ranked 142 position by nominal GDP. And as per the World Inequality Report 2022, India ranked the most unstable nation in the world in economic inequality. My aims for the research is to study the impact of income inequality in India and present situation in India, and to understand the reason of income inequality, and to also highlight the steps taken by Indian government. The review of literature is in the post globalization era, growing income inequality has been experienced. In India, globalization only focused in richer states while poorer and populated states such as Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and Bihar are left behind. The lack of sufficient employment not being created in time is the reason why there is an income gap movement between classes. In India, tax and duty applicable on food item and groceries is quite high, which poor people couldn't afford. This causes malnutrition in our country. High cost of education and healthcare services has resulted in a high amount of debt taken by ordinary people, which cripple their growth. The Indian government has also taken many steps to solve this problem. The government has increased its expenditure in social sector analogs as education and the health sector, which could help in negative the effect of high indirect imposition. The government has come up with schemes like Employment Welfare Schemes 2022, Self-Employment Training Program and Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Yojana to increase employment in India. Indeed, the government has increased its spending on health sector to 1.2% from our GDP and intended to increase it to 2.5%. It is still among the lowest in the world, with the global norm being 6% of GDP. From the table, it is very clear that income inequality in India between classes is even. The richest 22% population hold 6%, 61% of GDP, and the poorest 18% of population hold only 3%. The middle class 60% population only gets 36% of national income. From all the research, I conclude that high inequality shows that the earnings from the expanding economy are not being shared equally, and that the majority of them are going to small number of individuals. High inequality poses a trouble to our nation's substance and its development, and the government must take immediate action to break this issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Parveen. Now I would like to request Mr. Prakash to kindly present his paper titled as Sustainable Agriculture. Over to you, Prakash.
Hello everyone, this is Prakash Mishra, studying in Asst.Prof.Sayma. Today I am going to show you the topic about the sustainable agriculture, which is a boon for the growth and livelihood. So let's start with the introduction. In introduction, I have told that the sustainable agriculture refers to farming practices. It protects the environment while yet allowing for the protection of crop and livestock without causing harm for the people or ecosystem. In sustainable agriculture, it is the practice of agriculture in a way that satisfies society's current demands for food and fabric. It might be elevated on knowledge of ecological sciences. Here I have given some of the examples of the sustainable agriculture practices, which are permaculture, agroforestry, mixed agriculture, vertical cropping, and crop rotation. And along with sustainable farming methods, adopting sustainable eating is another interconnected option to significantly lessen of the environmental impacts. The aims and objectives I have found in my research are that the three main aims of sustainable agriculture is environmental protection, financial success, and social justice. Here are some of the fundamental objectives of sustainable agriculture, which are the first objective is that it reduce your reliance on non-renewable resources. And the second one is safeguard the well-being and security of farm workers, neighborhood, residents, and society to produce enough wholesome and safe food, and to safeguard the profitability of farming activities. In my literature review, I have found that the agriculture is the largest industry in the world because it creates approximately 1.3 trillion worth of food annually and it employs over 1 billion people. Around 50% of renewable land on Earth is made up of pasture and cropland, which serve as both habitat and food for a wide variety of species. However, some of unsustainable behaviors have negative effects on both the environment and people. Sustainable agriculture is one of the most crucial frontiers for conservation worldwide because of its close relationship to the global economy, human societies, and biodiversity. When it is managed sustainably, they may protect watersheds, restore important habitats, and enhance the health of soil and water supply. In my research method is quantitative research. The design I have used in this research is a type of descriptive research. Type of data I have collected is primary data, which is I have collected through a survey and questionnaire. The samples I have made between the answers is between 15 and 25. And to improve my research, I have also included some of people who presently engage in farming activities. The data I have got from my research is that the main objectives of sustainable agriculture, what people think is that we have to get better environment and profitability. Many people think that pesticides and chemicals play a major role of production. I have found that 52% of people think that pesticides and chemicals play a major role in that field. What the main challenge of environmental sustainability I have found in my research too is that it reduces the carbon dioxide emissions. And the main problem of this insufficient share of renewable energy. We can increase productivity in farming by methods like water conservation, ecological testing. The conclusion I have got from that research is agriculture that is sustainable generates a lot of food without consuming too many resources or harming the environment. Agriculture creates a system for cultivating crops and rearing livestock that, like nature, are self-sustaining prior to the loss of nature. A successful sustainable agriculture is one that is recognizable from thriving rural communities, prosperous life for families on the farm, and wholesome food for all. However, as a set of approved practices or a model for economy, sustainable agriculture is still in its infancy in the first decade of the 21st century. and it is more than just a location. With this conclusion, I would like to conclude my research here with a special thanks to the faculty. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Prakash. Now I would like to request Ms. Priya to kindly present a paper titled as A Study on Food Adulteration. Over to you, Priya. Hello. Just Priya. Hello. Hello. Yeah, you are not clear. Hello. No, 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 no. There's a technical issue. Please fix the mic. Please fix the mic.
Hello.
It's a bit lower. Be more louder. Louder.
तिथून व्हॉल्यूम वाढव अभिनंदन पीसीचा व्हॉल्यूम
Hear me?
अभिनंदन पीसीचा
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. You can. Little bit louder. Little bit louder.
Hello, everyone. I am Wasini from Kelly Society. My topic name is food alteration. Here we start with introduction. Food adulteration take place when intentionally or unintentionally material that reduce the quality of food which are added to it. Food is the primary essential necessity of life. The food we eat is absorbed by our body and is used to run consumption process and comfort life. Food is important for growth and development and many life processes. A lineup of food in our daily diet includes vegetable pulses, legumes, grains, fruit, etc. But today you might have seen very narrow milk due to mixing with water, yellow, white, or black pepper in uncooked pulses. White small stone mixed up with food is wholly or partly taken out, lowering the quality of food. It made neat with harmful material. Aims and objectives. Aims and objective are to study the impact of food adulteration in our day-to-day life and to understand its harmful and harsh effect in our life. Literature review. Food is one among the basic necessity of every living being. Food for human consumption should be in its possible purest form without adulterate and contaminant. The present study focus on analyzing few select food items purchased from local grocery stores located in the 12 city of Hyderabad and Telangana. The extent of different element present in the food item were edible oil sample, prohibited color 15%, mineral oil 20%, dye in fats 15%, and castor oil 0%. Research methodology, research method, quantitative research, research design, descriptive research type of the data. Primary data has been collected through a structured questionnaire. Data collection tool, survey questionnaire. Sampling method, sample random method. As per my collected data, 30% in fruits, 24% in vegetables, 31% in daily product, etc. are some commonly adapted food products. 14.5% poor knowledge, 70% average knowledge, and 15.5% good knowledge has people know about food adulteration. Conclusion. Food adulteration is a threat that we all encounter on a regular basis. Food adulteration detection is a cruel step in assuring the safety of the meal we eat. Despite being exact, precise, and trustworthy, advanced lab techniques are expensive and time consuming.
Priya, please present your screen. Social media impact on buying shopping behavior. Over to you, this week.
Good afternoon, everyone. My topic for the research paper is how social media impact on buying shopping. So let's start with the introduction. Due to the rise of online shopping and the amount of time people spend on social media impacts on consumer buying decisions. Social media and online shopping shorten the customer journey. My aims and objectives are the purpose of my analysis is to be told concerning and critically evaluate how our social media influences buyers' buying decision. To gauge the impact of social media on customer purchasing decisions. To see the impact of social media on social networking sites. Literature review. The whole essence of this study has been to check the impact of teenagers, that is, cohort of 13 to 20 years, on social media advertising with the assistance of Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and so on. The PR and advertising agencies are all undergoing an amendment and are attempting to evolve their strategy, natural object, and business models to be in tune with social media. My research methodology is research method is qualitative method, research design is descriptive, and type of data is the primary data. Uh, as per my data analysis, social networking sites used by WhatsApp is 43%, Twitter 13%, Facebook 37%, Instagram 2%, Google 3%, and none of the above. At the end, we conclude on social media plays a key role in increasing online sales. It can not only redirect customers to another shopping web page, but also encourage with its developing features. More customers are encouraged to stay on the platform for a longer time and finish the whole purchase there. Businesses and marketers should always consider social media and improve their social media feed by doing research, implementing surveys, and benefiting from technology to get more insights into the buyer's behavior. Thank you.
Thank you, Drishti, for presenting your paper. Now, I would like to request Ms. Prerna to kindly present a paper titled as Study on Cyber Security in India. Over to you, Prerna.
Good afternoon to all. I am
Prerna,
Ren-
please
Yes,
present your screen. Screen is not there.
sir, the party cloud center de Mumbai. Party देते थे नहीं.
क्या हो रहा है?
Screen present नहीं.
नहीं हो रहा किसका?
Prerna.
नहीं हुआ अभी तक इसके एस्केप मार.
It does.
Good afternoon to all. I am Prerna Patil from SYBCom from KLE Societies. I am going to talk about cyber security, a study of cyber security in India. My author is Mr. Milind Gurchal, Assistant Professor and Head of Department of Contemporary and Environmental Studies, FC-EVS. Introduction of my research. Cybersecurity is a growing concern in India as the country's reliance on technology continues to increase. With the rise of e-commerce, online banking, and other digital services, the number of cyber attacks and data breaches has also increased. The Indian government has taken several steps to improve cybersecurity in the country. For example, the Indian Computer Emergency Response Team (CERT) was established to respond to cyber threats and provide assistance to organizations in the event of a data breach. The government has also introduced various policies and regulations such as the Information Technology Act, the Personal Data Protection Bill to protect sensitive information and ensure the privacy of individuals. My aims and objectives of the research to study the cybersecurity in India, to study the how does cybersecurity make so easy, to study the cyber attack in India, to study the cybersecurity on social media, to study the cyber ethics. The hypothesis India is vulnerable to cyber attacks due to its increasing reliance on technology and the internet as more and more services and activities move online risk of cyber attacks on research methodology, research method qualitative method, research design descriptive research, type of data primary data, data analysis and interpretation. Cybersecurity refers to the set of practices, technologies, and measures put in place to protect computer systems, network, and electronic devices from unauthorized access, attack, theft, damage, or dispersion. Effective cybersecurity requires a multi-layered approach that involves a combination of technical solutions such as firewalls, encryption and access controls, as well as best practices, policies, and procedures to mitigate risk and protect against the cyber threats. Conclusion. In conclusion, cybersecurity is a critical issue that affects individual organizations and governments worldwide. As technology continues to advance, the threat of cyber attacks will only become more sophisticated and widespread. To stay protected, individuals should practice safe online habits such as using strong passwords, keeping their software up to date, and being very suspicious emails, websites. Organizations must also take appropriate measures to secure their networks and data, such as implementing encryptions and firewalls, training employees on security best practices, and having a plan in place of responding to a breach. Governments also have a role to play promoting and enforcing cybersecurity regulations and initiative to protect their citizens and infrastructure. In today's interconnected world, cybersecurity is a shared responsibility and everyone must play their part to help keep the digital world secure. Thank you.
Thank you, Preta. Now, I would like to request Ms. Ramila to kindly present the bill titled as Degradation of Moral and Ethical Values Among the Indian Youths. Over to you, Ramila.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Ramila Rajput, studying in SY.Com from KLE Society, Science and Commerce College, Kalamboli. Let's begin with introduction. Moral values are the worthy ideals or principles that one follows to the right and wrong. Moral values are something that teaches good things, including honesty, trustfulness, kindness, integrity, helpfulness, love, respect for others, hard work, forgiveness, etc. The degradation of moral values among the youth is an emerging issue. Let's begin with aim and objective. To study or to know the importance of moral value among the Indian youth. To study the factor affecting degradation of moral value among the Indian youth. To give some suggestion to reduce the moral degradation value. Literature review. Everyone knows that life is precious, that life is important. We all care of our life more than anything. The value in our life are even more important if the life is so important. Values are the guiding principle of our behavior, which are more desirable, most important, and highest esteemed by a individual or a particular society in which people live. Students and youngsters are the future of India. The future of our country mainly depend upon the moral values which are imparted in them during their student life. Moral values is very essential value in nowadays for all our well development of the youth. Education based on moral values develop the outlook of a boy or girl student by providing the variable direction to their power of thinking. Research methodology. Research method is quantitative. Research design is doctrinal. Type of data is secondary as it is collected from article and YouTube. Data collection tool is websites, book, information which are collected from internet. Data analysis. As you all see that care, equality, equity, autonomy, royalty, authority is shown in this, and graph is showing that how much in India is the moral value is there. Conclusion. Youth are the major determinant of level of development in any society. Though moral values are degenerating in modern civilization, now we are living in modern century. So if we use the science and technology in the proper way, it is not at all difficult for us to solve all the program of non-moral and value things. With the major force of the youth of all the society, they can get the position of the self-sustain. Knowledge without moral is not only useless but is dangerous too for the society. The most important for the youth on which the country's present and futures depend to make them aware of the importance of the moral value in their life. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramila. Now, I would like to request Ms. Kumkum to kindly present a paper titled as Obstacle in the Virtual Education. Over to you, Kumkum.
Hello everyone, my name is Kumkum Kamlesh Sharma. I am studying in SY BCom, KLE College, Science and Commerce. Let's start with introduction. While the distance education has been a lifestyle from at least 100 years, the medium has modified from pencil and paper corresponding guidance to real-time internet guides. But irrespective of the medium, distant guides have not unusual place behavior and likewise have controllable problems. Finally, the characters of students, faculty, organize and course curriculum and their respective effects on the distant getting to know are explored. Next, aims and objective. To know the signification of distance education, to understand the student, faculty, and organizational barrier to distant learning, and what is the difference between virtual teaching and classroom teaching. Next, literature review. This research findings indicate that students previous mobile technologies as an effective tools in improving their communications and learning. According to a report by Google and KPMG, the online education market in the Indian at the end of December 2016 was $247 million and it will rise 1.96 billion by 2021. Also, Indian online education market in the secondary largest market after US. The finding of the reports also state that the paid user base from online education service will also grow at least by 6 times, approximately 9.6 billion users by 2021. Next, research methodology. Research method. This is a quantitative research. The research design. This research is a descriptive research. Data type of primary data has been collected through a structural questionnaire. Data collection tool, survey questionnaire, Google form. Sampling method, randomly sampling method. Sample size 80% response. Their sample size is made up of distant learning. Data analysis. In this graph, we can see the robotic learning found be a good more by 85.7%. We can see 40.3% in showing fair. Next graph, in this graph, we can see that the cross to technology from online learning more than yes and it's showing 71.4%. Yes, but does not work well. It's showing 40.3 percentage. Not I am sharing with other is showing 40.3 percentage. Next, it is the found that around 85.7% of the people using at least 1 to 2 hours of drive per day and it found that around 40.3 of people using at least 3 to 4 hours of drive per day, and 33.3% people are around to use a laptop from online education, and 83.3% people are using smartphone. As conclusion, distance learning is not a new concept, but because of the value and importance of the issues raised here, it has not achieved the acceptance of the academic committee. It's important to understand issue with technology and take steps to address them easily, give how to quickly technology development. Thank you.
Thank you, Kumkum. Now I would like to request Miss Neha to kindly present a paper titled as Learning Disability as Preeminent Issue in This Era and Information Study. Over to you, Sneha.
Good evening to everyone. My name is Neha Satish Shinde, studying in S1 BCom at KJ Society Science and Commerce College under the guidance of uh, Professor Professor Mr. Milind Gurchal sir. I, I present a PPT presentation. My topic of presentation is uh, learning disability as an information issue in this era and information study. My my first point is introduction. There are many diseases in the world, but one of them is difficult in learning, whether it is the diseases of young age, of old age, of a person. Children with special needs are also known as brilliant children. RPWH, according to the Rights of Person with Disability Act, हाँ परत होगा. Sorry, अभिनंदन अभिनंदन. साठी वस्तू बोलायचं. aims and objective to give education to children with mental retardation to improve the of quality of life of rural people and the weakest segments of society not able the disabled human children and the adults to help people with mental impairments with vocational training and the job placement. Next is literature review. Sin is founded in 1989. The US Canada Shriver National Institute of Child Health and Human Development (NICHD) has supported transdisciplinary research in the areas of fundamental reading abilities, reading fluency, reading comprehension, right comprehension, and response and improve. Next is research methodology. Research method, quantitative design, research design, description design, purpose data. Primary data has been collected through a structured questionnaire, data collection tool, survey questionnaire, Google Form, sampling method, sample random method, sample size, have knowledge about learning disability and how to deal with children or adults. To expect response of the survey was 10, but in total 7 response we are receiving. Research methodology. The study consists of primary baseline data collected by taking online survey. The survey on the knowledge about learning disability, dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia. Related matter was done through Google Form with a set of questionnaire and mandatory to perform multiple choice tests were administered to obtain the information required for further research. To expected response for the survey was 100, but total is 70 response we are receiving. The questionnaire include general questions related to learning disability. Last is conclusion. It is hoped that we will be able to prevent learning problems before their beginning or the least provide novel and effective intervention to avoid some of the emotional and social challenges associated with learning disability. It is recommended that identify children with learning disabilities in an early age improve your ability to the study of learning disorders. It is currently open the new research direction in the both genetics and neuroscience. Thank you.
Thank you, Sneha. Now I would like to request Ms. Arpita to kindly present a paper titled as Pandemic Vaccination and Psychological Distress, an Unexpected Breakdown in India, a pre-post study on COVID-19. Over to you, Arpita.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Arpita Loksikdar, studying in SY BCom at Kaley Society Science and Commerce College, Kalamboli. We all have faced the worst situation in our life, which will be counted as a history for our next generation. Does anyone know what is it? Let me answer. COVID 19, a pandemic or an endemic, which was a devastating part for the whole world. Under the guidance of our professor, Mr. Milind Gurchal sir, I am going to present a PPT presentation on pandemic, vaccination, and psychological distress, an unexpected breakdown in India, a pre-post study of COVID-19. Let me start with the introduction. COVID-19 or SARS-CoV is a contagious disease. COVID-19 can be easily transmitted from one person to another person. The first and only way of stopping this transmission was lockdown. In India, the first lockdown was of 21 days, which got extended day by day. From the sources and news, 3 Indian medical students visited China, Wuhan city around December 2019. And on 30 January 2020, those 3 students were reported as the first case of COVID-19. Almost after a year, vaccination program started in India on 16 January 2021. The main objective for conducting this PPT presentation is to deeply study what pandemic actually is, to know the procedure of transmission, to know how vaccination worked out in India, and to know the basic knowledge of people related to COVID-19. Research is the best way to find out any information in a detailed way. In that way, research helped me to find out the reason of increased cases of COVID-19 in India. Some studies researchers concluded that the age group between 10 to 15 and 55 to 70 were highly risked to be infected by virus. Those who are having low immune system were also in the zone of risk. Until date, low immune system is considered as a reason of getting any infection easily. COVID-19 can be easily transmitted via droplets, contact, or aerosol. Also, one study concludes the digestive system as a potential transmission of COVID-19. But prevention is always better than cure. People took precautionary steps such as wearing masks, sanitization, and social distancing. Government also levied travel restriction, school and other place closure, and fixed timing for everyone. The procedure of introducing vaccination to India started from January 2021 as the first dose and second dose after 3 months. But a lockdown of 21 days and then for 3 months is obviously a stress for everyone. According to some reports, mental health difficulties such as anxiety and depression played a miserable role during COVID 19. See the research methodology. To know more, I took a survey of various people to know their basic knowledge about COVID 19. It is a primary data collected through Google Form with a set of questionnaires. A survey on knowledge, awareness, and hygienic matter about COVID 19. Expected responses for the survey was 100, but in total received 73 responses. Let us see data analysis and interpretation. In figure 1, out of 73 responses, all respondents know about what COVID-19 is. In figure 2, majority of the respondents are aware. That is 49.3 respondents actually know the first reported date. In figure 3, most of the respondents, that is 47.9 respondents, are aware about the second phase. Figure 4 represents 65.8% respondents believe that Kerala is the first place to report COVID-19 in India. In figure 5, 16.5% respondents are in favor of all the measures, that is wearing masks, social distancing and sanitization. In figure 6, out of 73 respondents, 41 respondents has a personal opinion that flu is actually a common symptom of COVID. In figure 7, majority of respondents, that is 56.2, are sure that the main mode of virus transmission is respiratory droplets. In figure 8, 61.6% were sure about 14 days as incubation period. In figure 9, 82.2% respondents are vaccinated. Only one respondent is not vaccinated, maybe due to underage or any health related issue. After all, I would like to conclude for today's presentation. Coronavirus disease has affected not only in India but all around the world in various ways. However, public health measures implementation and vaccination has gradually reduced almost all uncertainties. But somehow, by concluding all the studies and researches, the world has to start the preparation for second possible pandemic. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Arpita. Now, I would like to request Ms. Sanjeevani to kindly present the paper titled as A Study of Female Feticide in India. Over to you, Sanjeevani.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sanjeevni Taide.
Sanjeevani, please present the screen.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sanjeevni Taide, studying in SY from Indian Societies of Science and Commerce College, under my guidance of our professor, Mr. Milind Gurchal, sir. My title of research paper is a study on female feticide in India. Let's start with introduction. A female fetus is the abortion outside of legal methods. Female feticide is the process of finding out the sex of the fetus and undergoing abortion of it is a girl. Although it is illegal, many people continue to practice it. Besides this, there are some communities which practice female infanticide, the practice of killing the girl child once she is born. Now, aims and objective. To study the evil of female feticide is deeply entering in our society. Every year continue in India because the fetus is an abortion process which an female fetus is removed from the mother womb in before birth. To study it is very heart touching. A family will not think a killed girl child. Now, literature view. To review the factors leading to female feticide. To review the perception and attitude of people towards female feticide. The awareness level of people regarding female feticide and female infanticide. Research methodology. The research method is qualitative research. Research design is doctrinal method. Type of data is secondary data about research, article, YouTube, etc. Data collection tool is website, books, information. Now, data analysis and interpretation. A study by female mortality rate of India was per thousand rate. Some demographs whether sex selective abortion or infanticide are accurate because underreporting to female but may also explain higher sex ratio. National reason may also explain some of the abnormal sex ratio. And now conclusion. Female feticide and even any sex test is illegal in India. The procedure by terminate the woman gives birth to girl child. So a little change in our mindset and attitude is all that is needed to welcome daughter in our hearts and this world. Save the girl child of a for save the girl child for a better tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjeevani. Now, I would like to request Miss Mansi to kindly present a paper titled as Casteism, Negative Scenario in Caste System. Over to you, Mansi.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mansi Utekar, studying in KLE College, Science and Commerce. My topic name is Casteism Negative Scenario in the Caste System. Introduction. The entire culture of higher education is accepted to promote freedoms of thoughts, equality, and social justice. The campus culture must promote values of leading a harmonious life. The education system resists this democratization by asserting its and control over them. Social media has an impact of India. Social media platforms of communication better even than face-to-face conversation. More people can be involved, cast issues to the government and public by its coverage ideas, policies, programmers, and actions. Indian caste system is based on Hindu religion and decide the caste system in the society. Casteism has become impassive. It has entered into the spirits and sections of the society. Objectives. Social media has taken the initiative and disseminated the issues of caste discrimination in the education transformation. Social media works towards the transformations of life and the country. Importance of people with the social awareness and development. Aims. Caste-based unit system of division labor. Activities necessary for the society. The society is divided into various categories. Casteism is a form of present Indian society categories. The caste system provides social roles, characteristics, and more important, thoughtful life. Caste defines group, common names, traditional occupation, common culture, status. The caste system provides groups, feelings, and religions. Literature review. Features are religion system, caste system, factors of casteism, features of caste. Caste matter, causes of casteism, merits and demerits of casteism. Caste-based discrimination is usually concealed. People from lower caste often will not say which caste they are from as the might open them up to discrimination. People from dominant caste just regards that as their privilege and see on issues arising from their position. Caste-based discrimination has also been described as a hidden because the issues hardly the caste committees research methodology, research method, quantitative design, research design, descriptive design, type of data, primary data has been collected through a culture, data analysis and interpretation, distribution of each religion by caste category. The caste system in India is a paradigmatic example of classification of caste. It is has organized in ancient Indian that was transferred by various ruling elites in medieval era. Moderns and modern India, especially the Mughal Empire and the British Raj. The caste system consists of two different concepts, Vans and Jati, which may be regarded at different levels of analysis of the system. Conclusion. The caste system in India is the paradigmatic iconography example of classifications of caste. The caste system in India was used to establish separate sub based upon their social position and employment. India, after achieving the independence in 1947, enacted many affirmative action policies for the historical. This policy included reserving places for the groups of higher education and government employment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mansi. Now I would like to request Mr. Sami to kindly present his paper titled as An Analysis on the Reason of for Increasing the Crime in India. Over to you, Sami.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sami and I am studying SY BCom. For the national conference, I have chosen the topic an analysis on the reasons for increasing crime rate in India. As we know, the majority of nations around the world have seen a significant rate increase over the past few years. There is no clear cause for any disorder or criminal behavior. Most of the time, persons criminal activity is caused by their society, cultural family system, political influences, and law enforcement. India's crime rate is rising. In addition, there are numerous forms of crime. Drug trafficking, murder for rent, and human trafficking are all forms of organized crime. Political violence, religiously motivated violence, terrorism, and kidnapping are all outcomes of various criminal activities. My aim and objectives for the research is to reduce by one-third the number of criminal activity during 1 year and to hold youth who commit crime accountable for their actions. The literature review of the demographic disparities and annual event dropout rates have been a major contributor to rising crime rate over the time. In order to make ends meet, the illiterate and uneducated frequently engage in criminal activity. Two-way causality is often used to describe the relationship between violent crime rates and their determinant. Youth crime prevalent in the country at the moment. If the recurrence of a crime exceeds the person's usual income, they will commit a crime. My hypothesis for the research is the current laws that are in place do not work to lower the crime rate in India, and the present law implement are effective to decrease the crime rate in India. Research methodology. The work uses doctrinal research as its method, which indicates that data were gathered from relevant research articles, books, newspaper, and websites. And the conclusion is the crime rate in India has been steadily rising from year to year, and the conviction rate has also dropped dramatically. Additionally, the courts are imposing extremely light sentences by utilizing their discretionary powers due to wide range of discretion provided by the current sentencing there is more opportunity to use the judicial officer, personal opinion, and favored brain when orthodox the sentence of the offenders. As a result, there are more opportunities for the defendant to escape the law. The Indian criminal justice system already operates under the principle that hundreds of criminals will be at large, but one innocent should not be punished. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sami. Now I would like to request Ms. Pratiksha to kindly present a paper titled as Gender Inequality and its Breakout Curve. Over to you, Pratiksha.
Hello everyone, myself Pratiksha Pandey from Asst.Prof. studying in Kerala Society Science and Commerce College, Kalamboli. Commencing the presentation with introduction. Gender inequality is discrimination on the basis of sex or gender, causing one sex or gender to be fortunate or tried as over other. Around the globe, where gender roles vary from place to place, we can see that gender discriminations occur everywhere and at every stage of life, commencing with childhood or even prior to birth. Using derogatory terms against gender diverse people, and when women are predominantly considered as a weaker sex by society, although men are taught to be tough, courageous, or their own men. These stereotypical terms that are used to define gender are not only detrimental to one specific gender, but to everyone around us. Types of gender discriminations against trans and gender diverse people. Feeling coerced to hide their sex identity. Lack of medical facilities or help. Social exclusion. Depatholization, which refers to treat as a medical disorder, which in case of trans and gender diverse people, mental health diagnosis have been put to wrong use to pathologize identities and gender diversities. Inequalities against men. Traditional stereotypes which widely consist of supremacy, superiority, brutality, etc. Ridicule when expressing emotions and when they are vulnerable. Repression and suppression of thoughts. Inequality against women. Discrimination in education, child marriage, unrecognized domestic work, gender-based violence. Conclusion and ways to tackle gender inequality. When it comes to trans and gender diverse people, we should take on strong proactive measures to abolish the social stigma associated with gender diversity. Access to quality healthcare service and related information, and take on strong measures to demolish so-called conversion therapy, coerced treatments, surgery, and other forced medical procedures enforced on trans and gender diverse people. For men, not accepting the narrow definition of masculinity will help every gender simultaneously. Then validating their emotions and teaching boys from a very young age to respect other genders and sexualities. For women, opportunities to gain power, achieve economic success, access to merit education for women will help them feel better. Thank you.
Thank you, Pratiksha. I would like to request Mr. Suraj to kindly present his paper titled as Vital Information. Hello. Yeah. I'm audible? Yeah. I would like to request Mr. Sunil to kindly present his paper titled as Overview of the Animal Law in India. Over to you, Sunil.
Good morning everyone. Myself Sunil Santosh Bailia, SY become Kelly College. My topic is overview animal
Sunil,
law
please
in
present the
India.
script. Present the script.
Starting करूँ? Good morning everyone. Myself Sunil Santosh Bailia, SY become Kelly College Kalamboli. My topic is overview of animal law in India. Intersection India is the seventh largest country in the world. It's one of the most biodiversity region in the world and it's home to four of the world 36 biodiversity hotspots. The India Penal Code (IPC) 1860 is the official criminal code of India and cover all substantive aspects of criminal law. Article 428 and Article 429 of the IPC establish penalty for all cruelty such as killing, poisoning, and mutilation and weakness of animal. Aims and objectives to get a knowledge the Constitution of India 1960, to understand source of law, to know distribution of power between center and states, to overview of animal protection law. Literature view. Some of the main problems facing animal advocates in India are not addressed in the literature. This includes the way organizations can best approve their work in India, what their relationship with Indian authorities should be, how animal advocate in developing in India, and the way in which concern of for wild animal may be best advocated for in India. Research methodology. Research method. This is quantitative research, research design, descriptive research, types of data. Secondary data has been collected throughout a structured questionnaire. Data collection tools. YouTube, magazine, Google. Simple method, questionnaire. Conclusion. The 42 Amendment to the Indian Constitution of 1976 was a progressive step in laying the foundation for animal welfare in India. The most notable of this in the Animal Cruelty Prevention Act 1960. However, India still have a long way to go to truly develop a solid foundation for animal rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunil. Now, I would like to request Mr. Suraj to kindly present his paper titled as Right to Information. Over to you, Sunil.
Hello everyone. I would like first of all to thank the organizers of this conference to inviting me here today. Let me introduce myself. My name is Suraj Dabde. I am a SY BCom student from KLE Society of Science and Commerce College, Kalamboli. My author for this research is Assistant Professor Mr. Milind Gurchal. As you can see on my screen, my topic for national conference is Right to Information, that is RTI Act 2005. My research of this topic is particularly relevant to those who are not aware about the RTI Act 2005. So let us see some basic introduction about right to information. Right to Information RTI is an act of the Indian Parliament that establishes rules and procedures for citizens' right to information. It replaced the previous Freedom of Information Act of 2002. The RTI Act was passed by the Indian Parliament on 15 June 2005 and entered into force on 12 October 2005. Under the terms of the RTI Act, a citizen of India may request information from a public authority, that is, government agency, within 30 days. More than 4,800 of these RTI applications are submitted on average every day. Over 17.5 million applications were filed in the first decade of the law enactment. My aim for this topic is to know more about Right to Information Act 2005 and some important provisions regarding Right to Information Act, to aware people about their ability to seek information from the government department with a definite time frame, to aware people that any citizen of India may request information from a public authority, that is government agencies. The most common reviews which I have been through the literature states that the RTI Act promotes transparency, accountability, making actions, decisions, and policies more transparent and effective. The common people can check on the work of government and audit the performance of the work. Study on Right to Information Act a vital role to fight against corruption in India. My methodology for this research are quantitative design. The type of data which I have used is primary and secondary data. The primary data is collected through the survey questionnaire from common people, and the secondary data has been collected through the newspaper, journal, magazines, and internet, etc. Sample size of my research methodology is have knowledge about awareness of RTI Act 2005 among the people and about the major aims of RTI Act 2005. Accepted response for the survey was 50, but in total 25 response are received. The data collection tool which I have used is survey questionnaire Google Forms. The data analysis and interpretation which I have shown is it is found that 90% of people are aware about the RTI Act and 10% of people are maybe aware of RTI Act 2005. So, from all of the above discussion, I would conclude that the primary purpose of this law are to enable the public to ask questions about how government institution works, to promote effectiveness and accountability in government operations, to control corruption, to make it work. The law prohibits governments from being deceived into giving the impression that the government and its affiliated departments are acting in the best interest of the public. The purpose of Right to Information Act 2005 is very clear to make information accessible to all. Thank you.
Thank you, Suraj. Now, I would like to request Ms. Kusum to kindly present a paper under the title Workplace Stress.
Good morning. My name is Kusum Chaudhary, studying in SY BCom from Giri Society, Science and Commerce, Kalamboli. My topic for national conference is workplace stress. As we know, workplace stress refers to the physical, emotional, and mental stress that results from the demand and professional for the jobs. It is a common experience for many employees, and if left unmanaged, it can have a negative impact on their health and well-being. Aims and objectives. The main aims and objective for addressing workplace stress is to create the work environment that supports the mental and physical health and employees. By addressing workplace stress, employees can help to reduce the negative outcome and create the healthier and more supportive work environment. Literature review. Workplace stress is a common phenomenon that affect the large number of employees across different industries. For following in literature review is some of the most important studies and research conduct on workplace stress. The study of the internal medicine and environmental health found that work stress is a poor job performance, low job satisfaction. Hypothesis. Job depend review model. The model satisfaction the demand can release the stress which while the job resources can help include scope with the job demands and reduce stress. Low stress module. The modules select the low stress can lead the stress. Regional methodology. Regional method qualification, regional design, ethological research, type of data, primary and secondary, data analysis tools, analysis of website and internet. Data analysis. Collect data. There are several ways to collect data on workplace stress, including force group, etc. Organizing can also lead the data tools such as regional demands and analysis data. Once data is collected, the next step to analyze it. This can be done using the tools of the software such as SPS Access. Conclusion. Workplace stress is a common problem that can negatively impact both employees and organization. The workplace stress include the problematic work-life balance, offering employees department and programming motivational health habits. Thank you.
Thank you, Kusum. Now, I would like to request Ms. Khushi to kindly present a paper titled as Drug Usage Among Teenagers. Over to you, Khushi.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Khushi Pandey, student of Kelly College. My author is Assistant Professor and Head of Department Milind Gurchal. For international conference, I have to chosen the topic drugs uses among the teenagers. Drugs uses among teenagers can be a complex issue which varies contributing factors such as peer pressure, stress, and social or emotional challenges. Teenage is such a time when the children seems to doing his own things. They get into illegal things like drugs. Children of 14 to 16 old age start doing all these things before arrived in high school, and they learn everything about drugs and alcohol. This is a very dangerous habit that children have got. We have to stop it somehow, otherwise it will destroy the whole youth. It is important to address drug uses among teenagers early on and to provide resource and support to prevent it from becoming a long term problem. My aim and objectives are drugs uses among teenagers can have a variety of different motivations and aims which can vary from person to person. Teenagers may use drugs in order to fit in with their peers. Teenagers may try drugs out of curiosity or in order to experiment. Some teenagers may use drugs in order to escape from different emotions or stress situations. The review of literature I have been through drugs uses among teenagers is a serious problem health concern as it can have determinal effect on both their physical and mental well-being. A study published in JAMA in 2019 found that the legalization of marijuana in some state in the United States has led to an increasing in such among adolescents. The study found that the prevalence of marijuana use among teenagers increased from 40% in 2015 to 19% in 2017. Another study published in the Journal of Adolescent Health in 2020 found that the use of e-cigarettes or vaping have become a significant public health issue among the teenagers. Research methodology based on the paper is a doctrinal research, which means that data were gathered from relevant articles, books, newspaper, and websites. Data analysis and interpretation for this research paper are drug uses among teenagers is a complex issue that can have a range of interpretation depending on various factors. Here are the few impossible interpretation. Public health. Drugs uses among the teenager can have been such as a public health issue, and it can have a negative consequences on their physical and mental health. Social pressure. Teenagers may feel pressure to use drugs in order to fit in with their peers, copes and stress or emotional issues, or experiment with new experiences. The interpretation can lead to effort to address the underlying social and emotional factor that derive drugs use among teenagers, such as providing support for mental health issue and creative positive peer program. For all the above discussion, I conclude that drugs uses among teenagers is a complex and multifaceted issue which may contributing factor in such way the use of drugs is spoiling the whole environment. We have to be very careful that it does not reach to our country and family. We have to root it out. For this, the government will have to make strict rules and regulation on selling drugs and alcohol. The children who have got the taking drugs, their further can ruin. Teenagers should not fall in the wrong company, so parents should pay more attention to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Kushi. Now I would like to request Ms. Priyanka to kindly present a paper titled as Internet Addiction of Kids. Over to you, Priyanka. Priyanka, present the screen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Priyanka Shinde. I'm studying in SY BCom from Kelly Society Science and Commerce College. Commerce College. Uh, Under the guidance of our professor, Mr. Milind Gurchal sir, I am going to present my PPT presentation. Today, the internet is limited to teenagers and adults, but it is easily accessible to children, and internet addiction is also affects on students and their performance in school. Where the students prefer the Viva Internet is conducted the activities, internet usage has increased a lot these days. So, internet has become a part of a people's in life. Internet is provides many benefits to humans and such as online communication, access to newspapers and health information, entertainment such as listening music and playing online games. However, excessive use of internet can have a negative consequence. Some researchers has shown that the internet use has risk of physical and physiological and socially. It can internet use has been shown to be physical and socially dangerous. In 1999, it was found that the excessive internet uses leads to the internet addiction, which reduces contact with family members, such as the chat and online games. Other educational achievements in reduce. So, aims and objectives to study and compare internet addiction in Aadhaar and normal children and relationship with demographic profile with the internet addiction. The main objectives of the study is to explore the internet use and its the relationship with physical safety and self-esteem among the college student. Internet addiction is defined a disorder's use of the internet that is leads to the physical, social, and occupational problems. Literature view in Indonesia until the 1990s, after the school, children go out to play with their friends and they interact with each other. But this time, the situations will be rare because the next generations with children starting to like using to internet. So by using the internet, children needs to are being a meet such as getting entertainment, playing online games, listening to music, watching videos, finding information and related to school works and interacting socially, finding and different types of information. There are many more uses of internet. Although the internet was first developed in 1969, it was only made in 1990s, available in the internet societies. Research methodology, quantitative and qualitative. Types of data is the primary secondary. Data analysis and interpretation. Computer games and cyber internet are forms of addictions. Spending times with family and friends. Re- Reading books and listening to music can help curb in internet addiction. Sleep disorder and dry eyes are the results of excessive internet use. Individual therapy and multimodal treatments are important to overcome the internet addictions. Lack of focus and concentrations. Internet uses the most in China. Conclusion. Many studies are based on the and using the qualitative research. This includes the children's and parents. Meanwhile, in 2012 conducted research and experiments and King, King Arden engaged the children to develop the softwares and programs to help the children with helps special needs and learns how to use the internet. These studies have provided the more general pictures and contributions to children. Internet use has such as the positive and negative effects, often among the children. The influence of the context and the role of parents in supporting online activities. Among the children, the role of parents and teachers can improve the digital literacy through guidance, therapy, reducing the negative effects of the internet use. Thank you.
Thank you, Priyanka. Now, I would like to request Mr. Aditya to kindly present his paper titled as An Explanatory Study of Serious Economic Affairs, Unemployment. Over to you, Aditya.
Good morning, all of you. Here I am Aditya Tiwari from SY.BCom KLE College, Navi, Mumbai. As you can see on screen, here's my topic. My topic is an explanatory study of serious economic affair and employment. And let's start the introduction. Uh, Unemployment is a situation where individuals who are willing and able to work are unable to find employment. The unemployment rate is the percentage of a labor force that unemployment are actively seeking an employment. There are several types of unemployment, including frictional, structural, and cyclical unemployment. Frictional unemployment occurs when workers are between jobs or searching for their first job. Structural unemployment is caused by a mistake between the skill of workers and the demand of employer. And here is the aim and objects. Aim of the unemployment to reduce unemployment rate in a given geographical region or population. And objectives are reduce the overall rate of unemployment to ensure that all individuals who are able to willing to work have access to employment opportunities, and promote policies and programs that address the root causes of the unemployment, such as lack of education and skill, economic downturn, and structural barriers to environment. And here is a literature review. Literature review are the define of unemployment. Unemployment is generally defined as the state of being without a paid job or work for a certain period of time. Despite being actively seeking unemployment, type of unemployment. The literature often identify four types of unemployment: frictional, structural, seasonal, and cyclical. Causes of unemployment. There are many factors that can cause unemployment, including technology changes, globalization, economic downturn, and government policies. Effect of unemployment. Unemployment can have negative effect of individuals such as financial hardship, decreases well-being, and loss of self-esteem. It can also social impact such as reduce economic growth and increase government spending on the social welfare programs. Unemployment rate. The unemployment rate is an important measure of the labor market and is often used as indicators to overall health of the economy. It's calculate at the percentage of the labor force is unemployment and actively seeking work. And here is research methodology. Research methodology: qualitative research design, analytical research, research type, primary and secondary, and data tools, content analysis of the website and internet. And here is data analysis of the unemployment and interpretation. Uh, the lifting of some COVID-19 restriction following the second wave of the pandemic in India has instantly causes the country's unemployment to fall. Well, the rate of the first week of June actually exceeded that for month May. The last second wave saw unemployment fall by almost 5% point. The average rate of June for June to date has also fallen as the July 13. And the unemployment level in urban India is skipping to 9% in October. In comparison, rural unemployment dropping to 7.6% to 8.0% a month ago. The annual rural unemployment level in 2021 to 22 rise to a 6-year high of 7.5, including the COVID impact period of to 22-21. And here is a conclusion of unemployment. If the problem of unemployment is solved, it will help in develop our country. With population of 121 crore of people on country, unemployment rate is increasing day by day. The problem of unemployment is rising, but still many industries are facing the problem of skilled candidate for their companies. There is a growth of software companies, outsources companies in India, but still the countries has a number of uh, unemployment individual. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aditya. Now, I would like to request Mr. Krishna to kindly present his paper titled as Cultivating a Green Future, Navigating the Complexity of Environment Sustainability. Over to Krishna.
Good morning, everyone. Here I, here I am, Krishna Mohan from Kerala College in Kalamboli. My topic is cultivating a green future. Cultivating a green future, navigating the complexity of environmental sustainability. Here I am. Introduction. The world is facing so big problems that affect the environmental such as climate change, pollution, in loss of nature resources. We need to find way to protect the environment and make
in sustainability for future. We will look at ways to balance the needs of people, the planet, plant, and profit so that we can create a sustainability future for everyone. M and objects. M. The promoting environmental sustainability and cultivating a green future by addressing the complex and challenging associated with it. Objective. Increase awareness and education on environmental issues, environmental issue and sustainable practice, promoting responsible consumption and production pattern. Invest in research and development to identify, implement innovation and sustainable solution. Protect and conservation biodegradable and natural resource. Literature review. The role of policy and regulation in promoting sustainability. The importance of public awareness and education in promoting sustainable behavior. The benefit of sustainable protect for business and communication. The role of internal cooperate and in addressing global environment issues, the impact of climate change on environmental and society. Research methodology, collection tool. The paper is developing research, which means the data we are gathered from relating research article, book, newspaper, and website. Conclusion. Achieving environmental sustainability is not a simple task, but it is creating one for the future of our planet by cultivating green future and imbalance sustainability practice. We can task meaningful step together, reduce the environmental impact and creating a more sustainable future. It is important to approach the issue from multiple angles including policy, technology, individual action. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Krishna. Now, I would like to request Ms. Arpita to kindly present a paper titled as Gender Inequality, a State of Gender Inequality in India. Over to you, Arpita.
Hello everyone, my name is Arpita Kaur, studying in HY.BCom from Kelly Society Science and Commerce College. Kelly Societies and Science or Commerce. My research topic is gender inequality, the state of gender inequalities in India. As we know, gender inequality means that men and women are not equal in the daily life. Men and women have experienced a lot of things where if equal treatment is habituated to any side, it is termed as gender inequality. Gender inequalities not only limits women access to resources and opportunities, but also imperils the life possibilities of future generations. Gender inequality in India refer to health, education, economic, and political inequalities between girls and boys in India. The aims and objectives of my research paper is in a society everyone has the rights to lead his and her life accordingly without any discrimination, support economic empowerment and gender training for the girls and women. Literature review of my research paper is Gender Inequality in Girls' Education. Even before the pandemic, women were more likely than men to never set foot in classroom and disowned equal opportunities for child labor, gender-based violence, and child labor. Despite a high growth rate and less government measures to promote gender inequalities, the gender gap still exists in India. Lack of gender inequalities not only limits women access to resources and opportunities, but also imperils the life prospects of future generations. In the present article, an attempt has been made to look into the problem of gender inequalities in India. In this procedures, the article not only discusses the extent, causes, and significance of the problem, but also suggests policy measures to lessen gender inequality in India. Research and methodology. For the design of my research paper, research method is the quantitative research. Research design, descriptive research. Type of data, it is totally based on the secondary data. Data collection tool, empowering women changes the world. Melinda French Gates. Mary Port's work like a woman Mary. Global Gender Gap Index 2022. History. Indian economic, news and magazine and etc. Sample method, it is simple to understand. For the data analysis and interpretation of my research paper, here I am using disparity in basic education. Here the table in 1991, male rate is 9.83, female 0.3, and total base rate is 5.35. Gender disparity means, as we know, in India means health, education, economic and political inequalities between male and female in India. Gender nonconformity is largely the result of deeply ingrained systems of party discrimination against females, birth and called systematic subordination. Conclusion of my research paper: in a society, everyone has the right to lead his or her life accordingly without any restriction, discrimination, support, and economic empowerment, and gender training. Gender inequality creates enhanced gender stereotypes and prevent male and female girls and boys from equally reaching their full potential. We focus on particular mechanism thought which higher gender equality may support economic growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Arpita. Now, I would like to request Ms. Pragati to kindly present a paper titled as Unemployment, Economics, Housing, and Freelance Work, and Increased Study in Serious Economic Updates, that is unemployment. Over to you, Pragati. Pragati? Okay. There is a technical issue, so without wasting more time, I would like to request Ms. Pooja to kindly present a paper titled as Gender Biasness in India. Over to you, Pooja.
Hello everyone, my name is Pooja Dhuria. I'm studying in SY BCom, Giri College, Kalamboli. My topic is gender biasness in India. In this 21st century, still there are some families where the situation of mourning exists when a female child is born and rejoice and celebrations takes place when a boy is born. Gender biasness is a global problem, almost expanded all the sectors in our society by which the women are suffering a lot. Women are dominated by men not only inside the house but outside also, at different places. It is believed that the men are more furnished to handle the things and to tackle with the problems than women. Gender bias exists when a human treated unfavorably on the basis of his or her gender. Now, moving towards the aims and objective for framing this research paper. The aims and objectives to frame this research paper is to create awareness amongst women about their fundamental rights in order to make them understand to stand for themselves, to state the effects of gender biasness in different sectors like education, employment, and politics, and to promote the women empowerment for the betterment of the society. Now, literature review. In spite of various steps and measures taken by the government and right of women incorporated in Constitution of India, yet the gender inequality is far from reality. In this patriarchal system of the Indian society, the women are still hunted by socio-cultural system Some related causes by which the women are lacking behind are also covered. It also contains the data of global gender gap, where India ranked at 185 out of 146 countries. Literacy rate of women and sex ratio of female per thousand males are highlighted. Some attempts has been made to deal with these major problems in India. Now moving to the research methodology. Research method is used for this research is qualitative research, and the design which is used for this research paper is descriptive. The type of data which is included in this research is secondary data, and the data collection tool is through internet and newspapers. The sample is simple. Data analysis and interpretation. According to World Economic Forum, in Global Gender Gap Index in 2022, India ranked at 135 out of 146 countries. It is the seventh highest score in the last 16 years. The overall score that has improved is 0.629 from 0.625 in 2021. The four major areas which the gender gap examines are political empowerment, economic participation and opportunity, educational attainment, and health and survival. The data analysis and interpretation. The India's position on these pointers are as follows. The first one is gender gap index, where India ranked at 135 out of 146 countries, and the score is 0.629. In political empowerment, India ranked at 48, where the score is 0.267. In economic participation and opportunities, India ranked at 143, where the score is 0.350. In educational attainment, India ranked at 107, where the score is 0.961. And health and survival, India ranked at 146 last, where the score is 0.937. Lastly, the conclusion. Gender discrimination must be eliminated, as everyone should get the chance to grow and freedom to live their life in their own way without any discrimination. India needs to eradicate this biasness on social, economical, and political grounds, because this is also one of the key of development for India. Which will help India or our country to become developed country from a developing country, to achieve the goals of zero discriminations among the peoples of India. The both men and women should initiate and come together as a society in order to eradicate this gender biasness which is exploiting the India's culture. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pooja. Now, I would like to request Ms. Reena to kindly present a paper titled as Gender Inequality in Education. Over to Reena.
Hello everyone, my name is Reena Jadhav. I am studying in SY BCom, KLE Society Science and Commerce College, Kalamboli. I have chosen the topic Gender Inequality in Education. Why gender inequality in education? The reasons are many. Barriers to girls' education like poverty, child marriage, and gender-based violence, etc. I shall relate to gender inequality, why it is seen as an equality within education. Girls become exposed to the possibilities of child marriage, teenagers' pregnancy, child domestic work, poor education and health, sexual abuse, exploitation and violence, etc. Aims and objectives. Girls or women should get education and they can develop to go ahead. Research can be promoted within girls' education. We should bring different methods to give education to women so that level of women education can increase in our country. Use consultancy services in the fields of girls' education. Literature view. I have studied in gender inequality to education. Research paper of Radhika Kapoor. She had researched that gender inequality in education she regarded as the major barriers within the course of progression of the system of education. She has found that the major factors that promote gender inequality in education are conditions of poverty, prevalence of traditional viewpoint, school infrastructure, discriminatory treatments among girls, occurrence of criminal and violence act, etc. Child marriage, education of the parents, occupation of the parents, management of household responsibilities, and lack of interest in studies. Research methodology. Research methodology is quantitative and research design is textual and content. Type of data is secondary and data collection tools, research references, Google links, articles, YouTube videos, etc. Conclusion. Everyone needs to learn about respect and quality, boys especially. Men and women are coming more aware and engaged in the fight for equality as a whole. It is a shared struggle to conclude the gender inequality. We need to get rid of the old age traditions and mentality. We must teach everyone, especially the boys, all about equality and respect. It requires quite a lot of work, but it is the possible. We can work together and achieve equal respects and opportunities for all genders. Thank you.
Thank you, Rina. Now, I would like to request Ms. Pragati to kindly present a paper titled on Unemployment, Economy, Earning, and Precarious Work, and explanative study on the serious economic affair that is unemployment. Over to you, Pragati.
Hello everyone, my name is Pragati Vishwakarma from SY BCom, Kelly Society Science and Commerce College, one day national e-conference on exploring social, economic and environmental issue and solution in contemporary India going to be held. My research paper title is Unemployment, Economy, Earning and Precarious Work and Explanatory Study of Serious Economic Affair, Unemployment. Introduction. Our nation facing most significant issue about unemployment in cities, small towns, villages also due to the biggest extent of youth population economic times 2014. In India, the National Sample Survey Organization and Labor Bureau compute work and joblessness. In 2015, the 18 to 29 age bunch of joblessness rate was 13.2%. According to the NSSO finance data, employment growth decreased by 6 to 7% in January 2019 compared to the previous year. For 2017 to 2018, the unemployment rate is estimated at 6.1%, the highest level in 45 years. They reflect a job crisis, a glut of qualified talent, and readily available business openings. There are hundreds of thousands of people without jobs, and the problem of unemployment is particularly bad in India due to the country growing population and high demand of work. Objective: to study of unemployment related macroeconomic variable and factor and historical trends of unemployment rate, to relate these trends of current scenario and find points of difference and similarities, to find out the reason and coming up with the feasible solution and improve the present situation, to provide replacement income to those who have lost their job because of the unemployment benefit system. Next is literature review. The research article is a part of ongoing project which aim to collecting the unemployment rate and related macroeconomic variable to observe trends and effects. Various attributes have been studied such as employability, distribution among various sectors. The project is aiming collecting all the internal factor and add up eventually lead up unemployment. The poor employability of workforce analyzes the trends and labor force workforce participation rates, unemployment, jobless, working poor growth, and employment, etc. Government is rightly concerned about creating job for youth and rising level youth unemployment because of not only direct economic cause but also social issue related problem like poverty, acid attack, violence against women, her working place, drugs, labor force, inadequate education planning, new liberal economic policy, various causes of poor placements. Next is research methodology. Research method, quantitative method, research design, descriptive design. Primary data has been collected through a structured questionnaire, survey questionnaire, Google form, simple random method, a survey on serious issue about unemployment. Expected responses for the survey was 100, but in total
receive 82 responses. Data analysis and interpretation. In this first graph, we can see that the number of female education in India is still far cry and job work for women is governed by female decision is more by 66.7%. In the second graph, we can see that the number of salaried employed worker or cashier in SBI is more by 73.3%. In this third graph, we can see that the number of unemployed problem lead to poverty because people living below poverty line more by 53.3%. Last is conclusion. A combination of poorly implemented government policy and international economic climate are blamed for the high rate. The absence of in-demand skill education facilities and low worker productivity round out of the list. A major concern of the loss of private sector job is skepticism of consumer towards major market like the automobile and real estate industries. The national crisis of unemployment affect a huge population of India, especially a youth generation who are the future leader of our country. As a result, unemployment come in form of non-development of nation. It's time for people in India along with government to become together and face problem with unity. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pragati. Now, I would like to request Ms. Pranali to kindly present a paper titled as A Legal Profession with the Ethics and Morality in India. Over to you, Pranali.
Very good very good afternoon to everyone. I am Pranali Sartape, studying in SY BCom from KLE Society Science and Commerce College, Kalamboli. I made a research paper on legal profession with ethics and morality in India under guidelines of Assistant Professor, Head Department of Foundation Course and EVS, Mr. Milind Gurchal, sir. Uh, Introduction. It is about the legal profession, how it plays an important role in justice administration. It talks about the legal practitioners there in India, how they give a valuable contribution for the country in the best possible way with high morals. Morals plays important role for becoming a lawyer successful. It also discusses the ethics of lawyers, what are their duties they carry out for the court, clients, opponents, and colleagues, etc. In case they do not follow the code of conduct, the various kinds of remedies in the form of punishment. Aims and objectives of this paper: to know the professional ethics of the lawyers and legal responsibilities, duties of the lawyers, to analyze the legal professional conduct of the lawyers, to understand the legal background of the behind the scene. A review of literature. In ancient Indian societies, the people had followed the law system, that is Dharma Shastra. In olden days, there were also the eminent lawyers who have justice to people with ethics and morality. Today, there are lawyers in court who follow the different Advocates Act, which involve provisions, rules, and regulations. For example, Advocates Act 1961. Research methodology. This paper is qualitative research paper and the design is descriptive in nature. Type of data: the data is collected from visuals, resource internet resources, articles, text, that is secondary. Data collection tool: case studies, textual or visual analysis and observations. Data analysis and interpretation: as the lawyers, it is the duty of the lawyers to be fair and ethical with his client, which help to lawyer himself. In the legal profession, if an advocate commits any wrongful act or any misconduct in his profession, he will be punishable by the court. The sanction not eliminate the right to continue running the profession if he follows ethical conduct. The dignity of an advocate remains respected if he stick to be fair, genuine, honest, trustworthy, unbiased towards his profession, towards his client and court. Coming to the conclusion, an advocate must follow the laws and regulations of the code of ethics. He must follow the professional ethics in his profession for him and for the other people also. As the lawyer it is a duty of a lawyer to be fair with his client, which will help to a lawyer himself. In the legal profession, if an advocate commits any wrongful act or any misconduct in his profession, he will be punishable by the court. And ethical and moral conduct is legally recognized by all advocate organizations is required for advocates in carrying out their profession as a enforcement. Lawyers are bound by their duties and responsibilities which they have to perform in a systematic manner. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranali. Now, I would like to request Ms. Sakshi to kindly present a paper titled on A Study on Consumer Behavior, Online and Offline in India. Over to you, Sakshi.
Hello everyone, my name is Asht.Prof.Rajashree studying SY BCom from KLE Society Science and Com. Hello everyone, my name is Sakshi Vagre, studying in SY BCom from KLE Society's Science and Commerce College, Kalamboli. I'm glad to be here with you today. The title of my research problem is Consumer Behavior Online and Offline in India. It is very important to understand the consumer's choices and purchasing methods for any business to succeed. Because of this, many traders choose to open an online business for maximization of profit. I have chosen to speak about this to study the factors influencing consumer behavior and to do a comparison between online and offline mode of shopping to know which method of shopping is the most preferred one in India. The review of literature I have studied is consumer buying behavior towards online and offline shopping, a study in West Tripura district uh, and researchgate.net publication, the consumer buying behavior. In their research problems, they found that consumer satisfaction plays a major role in success of the product in business market. They say that online shopping is different from offline shopping, and most of the respondents don't prefer online shopping because of the safety issues. The research method is a quantitative method, and the research design data is collected from the online survey research in the Panvel area. The analysis of consumer behavior may be categorized as comparative. Type of data: primary and secondary. The study is majorly based on the primary data, which includes people of different age groups. The online questionnaire was processed and analyzed with the help of statistical tools like pie charts. Data collection tool is the survey method, including a self-administered questionnaire, is used for data collection and quantitative analysis. The valid field questionnaire was got from 22 respondents, out of which 59.1% were females and 40.9% were males. The nowadays the pattern of shopping of consumer is changing a lot, especially during COVID-19 pandemic. People used to shop online because of hygiene issues, so they might think that there is a decrease in offline shopping. But according to my data analysis, there are 77.3% people who prefer online mode of shopping from total respondents, and most of them were females. People usually think that females mostly prefer online mode of shopping, but as per my survey data, there are 59.1% females who prefer offline mode of shopping from total respondents. So, from all the above research, I have concluded that consumer behavior is a wider term because everyone is different and each has their preferences, choices, tastes, etc. Based on these terms, some people choose an online option and some people choose an offline option for shopping. The graph of consumer behavior is very unstable, so it's very difficult to choose any one mode of shopping. According to the research, consumers are more likely to prefer the offline mode of shopping. In this way, both online and offline modes affect consumer behavior, and also there is a huge impact of this on the market. Retailers, wholesalers, etc. also get affected by consumer behavior. In this study, I have researched consumers and their mentality about purchase and expenditure, their preferences, tastes, and choices, and their overall view about optional and modern shopping. During the study, I knew one thing: compared to other countries in India, the number of people shopping offline is massive. It means we are still preserving our traditional culture at the same time getting developed in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Sakshi. Now, I would like to request Ms. Sharanya to kindly present a paper titled as Child Labor. Over to you, Sharanya.
A warm-hearted A warm-hearted good afternoon to everyone. I am Sharanya Karande, studying in SY from KLE Society Science and Commerce College in Kalamboli. In my presentation, I would like to present child labor, which is a big reason for India being developing country. Child labor is a main obstacle in the development of India due to lack of education, poor condition of family, and kidnapping. Children are forced to work for getting their basic necessities. The main objective is to understand how development to country is getting affected by the problem of child labor and to study ill effect of child labor. I have reviewed the literature of International Journal of Research and Analytical Review of Child Labor in India, a legal study. They have researched about these poor children and improving the economic condition of their families. Then research methodology. Research method is my research paper is qualitative research and research design is descriptive type. This research paper based on primary data analysis and interpretation. In the agriculture sector, child workers are highly included and especially boy workers are highly working because in rural area poverty is higher than urban areas. Most of the people in village are non-educated. Therefore, the number of child labor is increasing in the village. Conclusion. Tell lot of people avoiding to follow instruction of government then get strictly action on his. Compulsory education rule may break the attitude of the people who force children for work. The social evil of child labor can be brought under control of each individual responsibility. Every citizen should be aware of their responsibilities and should take corrective measure to stop child labor so that we can have a better and developed India. Thank you for giving me golden opportunity to present my topic on this national level conference.
Thank you, Sharanya. Now, I request Ms. Komaldeep to kindly present her paper titled as Analysis of Child Labor in India. Over to you, Komaldeep.
A very good afternoon to all. My name is Komaldeep Kapoor from SY BCom. I am going to present my PPT on uh, I'm going to present my PPT on analysis of child labor in India. Co-author Milind Gurchal, assistant professor and head department of contemporary environment study FC. Introduction. Childhood is the first stage of the human life, and the childhood is one of the chapter of the human life. And at the first glance, the child may be independent, but the future of the country depends on the children of that. Children are the first greatest gift to the humanity of the child is an important and important stage of the human development. It holds the potential or to the future development of any society. Child labor refers to exploitation of the children through the any form of the work that deprives intervenes to their ability to attend the regular school. It is a mentally and physically, socially now harmful. Any work that takes away from a child dignity, potential, and the most important from his and childhood is called a child labor. Aims and objectives: the right to educate a fundamental right, and it's maintained that the state shall provide free education and compulsory education to all children of age of 6 to 14 years in such a manner at the stage may be law determined. Literature view: there are growing awareness about the concern labor in the recent year has led to the numerous literature to issue research have been written to identify the root of the causes, suggestion appropriate remedial measures. In the community literature, it is commonly believed that the root causes behind the widespread execution of the labor in the developing world is objective poverty, which compels to have a large families and the children to go out in the job so as to earn or support their families. However, another view is that poverty in itself is now a sufficient explanation for child labor. In the literature, apart from the poverty, the supply of the child labor has also been attributed to factors such as a blind credit to failure of the education sector. Hypothesis: the term child is often uses symptoms with the employed children or working child. The child labor is a working which involves some degrees of exposure, physical, mental, economically, and social, which impair the health and development of the children. The constitution nearly 255 million poor economic condition of the family leads child laboring in the study area. Poverty and the large size of family is the root causes of the tribal child are suffering from the physical stress. Research methodology: research method, quantity and quality research, design, descriptive research, type of the data research, and primary data analysis and impression. Child labor is reported all over the world. The reported of 2012 created the International Living Organization tell us there are around 265 million working children around the world. Out of the 166 millions are working as a child, which is a 10% of the world's totally child population as whole. India is a the development nations and a child labor has been recent decreases as per the data by the International Labour Organization. There is a huge decreases in the number of the children working in India by 20% as compared to 2001 census. As per the report of International Labour of 2011, the children generally belong to age group of 5 to 14 years. They are the good news that they are decreasing in the child labor population in India by 20% as compared to 2011. Conclusion: the government all over the world is facing the problem of child labor, whether it's a development or development country. The main aim of this country should be removal for the labor, and the removed child for the labor industry should be sent to the school. The education policy of the country should remove the as it should be made for more student friendly, and it is should focus on all around the development of the children. Third, the number of the child labor working in India decreasing but not required place. There should be a loss of employment of children in a film, and there will be a time should be not crash with the school timing. Government has been laying a lot of attention on rehabilitation of their children, on improving economic of their family. Thank you.
Thank you, Komaldeep. Now, I would like to request Ms. Amandeep Kaur to present a paper titled as Child Marriage in India. Over to you, Amandeep.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Samandeep Kaur from SY BCom in Kerala Society. I am going to present my research paper on child marriage in India. A thought by Milind Gurchal, assistant professional, a head department of temporary and environment studies, FC-EVS, Kerala Society, Science and Commerce College, Kalamboli, Navi, Mumbai. Introduction. Child marriage has a long history in India and it's deeply rooted in the culture and social traditional. The practice of child marriage can be tracked back to ancient Hindu texts where it was conducted rights of passenger. Over time, child marriage became a way of secure financial and social stability as well as meaning of families, owner and properties. Since 1929, the practice continued to be particular in regular area and among a longer socio-economics committee. According to 2011 Century of India, nearly 48% of women aged 18-19 were married before the age of 18. The causes of child marriage in India are complex and multifactor pro- poverty and lacks of awareness of harmful effects of child marriage are major contributing factors. Another factors including the lost status of women in society, the pressure of conform the traditional gender roles and deserve to protein girls and fertile sex and pregnancy. Child marriage has seriously for the girls involved. They are often pulled out of schools, deprived them of education and limited their future opportunities. Aims and objects. The special aims and objects of ending child marriage in India. Aims and objects child marriage in India. Arising awareness about the negative impact of child marriage on the individual, family, and society. Stressness the legal of policy framework to present and child marriage. Insecure access to education and health services for a child marriage, special girls to enable them to make informed choice and push their life goal, promoting general equity and employing girls to assert their rights and make decisions about their own life, mobilizing con- community and enable with release and traditional leader to change social and attitude their conduct child marriage. Literacy revenue. Child marriage is scientific social issue in India which is highly rate in some regions. Or literacy revenue on child marriage in India can be identified the roots cases impact the protection intervention to reduce the harmful practice. Study a students by the National Family Health Services and FHS found that 27% of women in India aged 2014 were married before the age of 18, which is a legal age of India in India. The student also revealed that child marriage was more in rural area and among women from poor households. Ethiopathics HO general at the work in more in the public sector than the private sector. H1 general degrees were employing degraded and patient. Research methodological, research method quantity, research design analyzing, research types of data, primary and sector data. Data collected tool content analyzed for website and internet. Conclusion. Child marriage is a harmful practice that affected millions of children worldwide. Practical girls its desert children of childhood and expose them to child physical, emotional, and harm. It also limited their opportunity for education and economics independently. To address child marriage, it is necessary to integrate and enforce a law that the practice can promote education and employment for children, especially girls. Additional community and culture that child marriage must be challenged and the transfer through education and awareness rising integrated. Child marriage in India remained a scientific change effected effect too. While there has been profile in reduced to for child marriage over the year, particularly in a rural area, it is continued to the problem. It's in mainly rural areas community. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My topic is gender inequality in education in India. I am from SYBCom, KLE. So, I will start from introduction. Gender equality can be understood as an inequality of status of men and women in our society. It has been existed in Indian society since many years. Its roots lay in biological difference between boy and girl, it a male and a female, and its mostly impact in the mentality of male and women. Gender equality became the biggest passing issue in our society, Indian society. Gender equality has been experienced. Women has been harassed against in terms of various respect in the male partner. Aims and objectives to study the impact of gender inequality in education in India, to understand the merits and demerits of gender inequality. Literature review. The research paper attempts to examine the factors of construct which adversely affects the girl enrollment, and primary and secondary education. The research collect various secondary data, research paper, and reports. The extensive review of literature of this part among the girls' education in West Bengal. The research paper is divided into four phases. The first section mention about the various input of reports, political, and research paper in girls' education system. The second phase covers different variable factors which can found during literature regarding gender disparities in school education. The third section covers the methodology used to secondary data analysis, and last section mentions the including remarks of the paper. Research methodology, research method, quantitative research, research design, descriptive research. Types of data, primary data has collected through the structural questionnaire, data collection tool, survey questionnaire, simplifying method, simple random method. As you can see in this data from the left side, 64.4% girls out of the school life has worst education experience due to their inequality. And at the right graph, you can see that 31.9 male and 16.9 female gender based on violence after the education system. Conclusion: all in humanity wants men and women to continue. The discrimination will get nowhere has been seen. To get result, the gender discrimination else we need to cover the old age traditional the way of thinking. We must teach everyone, expect the boy and the male, all about equality, emotional independence and respect. It need equal a lot of work. It is not possible. We can work through and realize expect respect, quantitative and opportunity for all genders. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abhinandan.
गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन, मैं डॉक्टर बबीता शुक्ला आज बाल श्रम के ऊपर अपना प्रेजेंटेशन दे रही हूँ। बाल श्रम का मतलब ऐसे कार्य से है जिसमें कि कार्य करने वाला व्यक्ति कानून द्वारा निर्धारित आयु सीमा से छोटा होता है। इस प्रथा को कई देशों और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संगठनों ने शोषित करने वाली माना है। अतीत में बाल सखा कई प्रकार से उपयोग किया जाता था। बाल श्रम अभी भी कुछ देशों में आम है। आज दुनिया भर में 215 मिलियन ऐसे बच्चे हैं जिनकी उम्र 14 वर्ष से कम है। इन बच्चों का समय स्कूल में कॉपी किताबों और स्कूल दोस्तों के बीच नहीं बल्कि होटलों, घरों, उद्योगों में बर्तनों, झाड़ू पोछे और औजारों के बीच बीतता है। भारत में यह स्थिति बहुत ही भयावह है। दुनिया में सबसे ज्यादा बाल मजदूर भारत में ही है। 1991 की जनगणना के हिसाब से बाल मजदूरों का आंकड़ा 11.3 मिलियन था। 2001 में यह आंकड़ा बढ़कर 12.7 मिलियन पहुंच गया। बाल मजदूरी देश के लिए अभिशाप। कई सरकारें बाल मजदूरों की सही संख्या बताने से बचती हैं। ऐसे में जब विशेष स्कूल खोलने की सिफारिश करती है तो उनकी संख्या कम होती है ताकि उनके द्वारा चलाए जा रहे विकास कार्यों और कार्यकलापों की पोल न खुल जाए। यह माना जाता है कि भारत में 14 साल के बच्चों की आबादी पूरी अमेरिकी आबादी से भी ज्यादा है। भारत में कुल श्रम शक्ति का लगभग 3.6% हिस्सा ही 14 साल से कम उम्र के बच्चों का है। हमारे देश में यह 10 बच्चों में से 9 बच्चे काम करते हैं। ये बच्चे लगभग 85% पारंपरिक कृषि गतिविधियों में कार्यरत हैं। समीक्षा: वेश्यावृत्ति या उत्खनन, कृषि, माता पिता के व्यापार में मदद, अपना स्वयं का लघु व्यवसाय जैसे खाने पीने की चीजें बेचना या अन्य छोटे मोटे काम करना कम हो सकते हैं। कुछ बच्चे पर्यटकों के गाइड के रूप में काम करते हैं। कभी कभी उन्हें दुकान और रेस्तरां जैसे जहां वे वेटर के रूप में भी काम करते हैं ये में लगा दिया जाता है। कई एनजीओ समाज में फैली इस कुरीतियों को पूरी तरह नष्ट करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। इन एनजीओ के अनुसार 50.2% बच्चे ऐसे हैं जो सप्ताह के 7 दिन काम करते हैं। 53.22% यौन प्रताड़ना के शिकार हो रहे हैं। बाल मजदूरी की इस स्थिति में सुधार के लिए सरकार ने 1986 में चाइल्ड लेबर एक्ट बनाया, जिसके तहत बाल मजदूरी को एक अपराध माना गया। समीक्षा है: आखिरकार अतिरिक्त पैसे के लिए ही तो माता पिता अपने बच्चों से काम करवाते हैं, मजदूरी करवाते हैं। इसीलिए किसी भी तरह आर्थिक सहायता जारी रहनी चाहिए। ऐसे में हर किसी को यह लगता है कि इस संदर्भ में एक सामान्य नियम होना चाहिए ताकि ऐसे लोगों के लिए एक विशेष वर्ग निर्धारित हो सके, जैसे SC, ST, OBC। सैनिकों की विधवाओं, पूर्व सैनिक और अपाहिज लोगों के लिए एक अलग वर्ग निर्धारित किया जा चुका है। बाल श्रम के खिलाफ अभियान चलाया गया। इसमें बाल श्रम औद्योगिक क्रांति के आरंभ ही के साथ ही प्रारंभ हो गया। उदाहरण के लिए कार्ल मार्क्स ने अपने कम्युनिटी घोषणा पत्र में कहा, कारखानों में मौजूद स्वरूप में बाल श्रम का त्याग, यह बात भी गौर करने योग्य है। बाल मजदूरी को जड़ से खत्म करने के लिए जरूरी है गरीबी को खत्म करना। सरकार को कुछ ठोस कदम उठाने होंगे। सरकार ही नहीं, आम जनता को भी अपनी सहभागिता जरूरी है। हर एक व्यक्ति जो आर्थिक रूप से सक्षम हो, देश के सुरक्षित भविष्य के लिए वक्त आ गया है कि आपको यह जिम्मेदारी अब लेनी होगी। क्या आप लेंगे? ये सारे कार्य वस्त्र उत्पादन की तुलना में अधिक खतरनाक और विस्फोटक है। इस अध्ययन से यह निष्कर्ष निकलता है कि भूधारे उपकरणों के दीर्घकालिक प्रयोग की भांति ऐसे परिणाम से बच्चों को फायदे की जगह हानि ज्यादा हो सकती है। आज कई उद्योग और निगम हैं जिनको कार्यकर्ताओं द्वारा बाल श्रम के कारण लक्षित किया जा रहा है। धन्यवाद।
So here I declare the end of technical session part 1.